Hello, my name is Dakota Wilson, and this is my impromptu speaking. I have a note card, and I will be using my iPad to track my prep and speaking time. Thank you. My prep time starts now. Time on prep. Okay. My speaking time begins now. When I was a kid, I loved Legos. So much so that I would carry them around with me wherever we went, even to the places I shouldn't have. For example, the football game my mom dragged me to when I was 7 years old. I was playing peacefully with my Legos in the corner when a singular Lego head dropped down from the bleachers and onto the abyss of rocks below. If you've ever seen a Lego, you know those heads are small. Being the 7-year-old that I was, I whined and begged for my mom to let me go down and find it. She had no faith in me because it was truly a sea of rocks, but little did she know, I would end up finding it. I didn't let my present circumstances of losing my beloved Lego head drive me away from finding a solution. This leads me to our quote. Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. By Nito Cupid. Now, I think we should explore this quote through 3 main examples. Frida Kahlo, Harriet Tubman, and my own personal example. Let's start. We all know Frida Kahlo as a role model for artists. However, what you may not know is that she actually had a very difficult life. She had a bus accident at age 19 that left her with a severely damaged spine. In fact, she was bedridden for 9 months. Now, during these tragic circumstances, she found light. The light being her art. Her parents even bought her some supplies. They were very supportive and gifted her a nice bed, some paints, and a special canvas. It's here where she started her journey and soon became one of the most well-known artists down in history as a profound example. As you can see, and as I'm sure Mr. Cupid would agree, Frida didn't let her present circumstances determine that her life was over after that bus accident. She only determined that she would start here with her amazing journey as becoming a famous artist. Second, we can explore this quote through Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman is a profound figure in history, specifically Black history. Her being one of 9 siblings born into an enslaved family and then escaped from her home at the time to Philadelphia, where she eventually found safety. Now, not only did she get out of her rather hideous circumstances, but she also found the courage and the bravery to go back to her where she was originally enslaved and not only return, but come back freeing, according to her own personal accounts, roughly 70 enslaved people over 13 trips through the Underground Railroads. Harriet Tubman is a superb example of our quote, because as you can see, she didn't let her present circumstances of being born into slavery impact where she went with her life. Rather than staying enslaved and running scared, she faced her fears and helped over 70 people. The last example I want to share with you is one of my own. When I was merely 3 years old, my father had a stroke, affecting the left side of his brain. Now, in case you're unaware, the left side of your brain controls things such as communication. And my dad was greatly affected by that. He had trouble connecting his brain to his mouth and couldn't get out a thought. It took him so long to recover. And thanks to the help of many doctors and, of course, those that helped our family understand what he was going through so that we could properly consider him and take care of him, my dad is thankfully well and alive and healthy. And rather than succumb to what it seemed as though fate at the time that he would tragically, this event had happened to him, instead he rose to the challenge and now he is great. To conclude, we explored the quote, "Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They're merely determine where you start," through 3 main examples. Frida Kahlo and her incident with a bus that left her spine destroyed, but she continued to pursue art. Harriet Tubman, who was born into slavery but still braved and helped free over 70 people. And my own personal experience with my father having a stroke, but he came to the challenge and is now doing well in life. By the end, I've hoped you learned how important Mr. Nito Cupin thought was. Thank you.